Hi, welcome to this quick tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to multiply matrices. Okay, first of all, I need you to understand that there are two types of multiplication of matrices. The first type of multiplication is called the scalar multiplication. And then we have the matrix multiplication. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do the both of them. So when we talk about scalar multiplication of matrix, I'll just give you an example. It means a single number multiplying a whole matrix. Okay, so for example, we can have a question like this. Let's say, okay, find the resulting matrix. Find the resulting matrix in this now. 2, you have 4, you have 6, you have 8, you have 1, for example. Now, if you look at this, this is a single number and it's being written in front of this matrix, meaning that the 2 is multiplying the matrix. So this 2 you see here is called the scalar quantity or the scalar value. So this is the scalar value multiplying the matrix. So we call this scalar multiplication. So to do this is very simple. All you just need to do is use the 2 to multiply each element in the matrix and you're done. So let's go now. So this implies 2 times 4 gives us 8. The same 2 times 6 gives us 12. And then 2 times 8 gives us 16. And 2 times 1 gives us 2. So this is how we carry out scalar multiplication of matrix. Again, this is called scalar multiplication because a single number is multiplying a whole matrix. One more example. So this is example 1. So let's go for example 2 to deepen our understanding. 2, say, find the value of this time, let's say we have -3 multiplying the matrix. We're going to take it 2 by, let's say, -1, 2, 7, 3, 1, 4, let's say 5, 4, let's say 5, for example. So you can see this is another scalar multiplication of matrix because a single value, which is this is negative this time, is multiplying a 3 by 3 matrix. So this is very easy to do. And to do this, let's do this very quickly. Okay, we'll put the matrix there. So solution. So the -3 is a scalar value here. It's called the scalar quantity. It's going to multiply each element inside this 3 by 3 matrix now. So let's go. In the last video, I showed you how to multiply negative numbers. So we're going to go with this now very quickly. So this implies -3 times -1 is simply 3 or +3. Then -3 again times 2, which gives us -6. Then -3 times 7, that gives us -21. Okay, -3 times 3 now, that's we're on the second row already. That gives us negative 9. Negative 9. Okay, let's put it here now. Negative 9. Then minus 3 times 1. That gives us minus 3 again. And minus 3 times 4. That gives us negative 12. And then minus 3 times 5 gives us minus 15. That's negative 15. And minus 3 times 4 gives us negative 12 again. And then minus 3 times 5 gives us minus 15. Okay, so we are done. This is the result of this, see, this scalar quantity multiplying this 3 by 3 matrix. We're going to get this very easy. Okay, so now let's look at matrix multiplication. Matrix multiplication. That means in this case, two matrices are going to be multiplying themselves. Matrix multiplication. There is something very important you need to know, so I'm going to write it out here. Now note, for two matrices to be able to multiply, to be able to multiply, okay, the number of columns of the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows. Or is it the number of columns must be equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. Take note of this, very, very important. What this means is that it is not every two matrices that can multiply. So if the number of columns of the first matrix is not equal to the number of rows of the second matrix, the two matrices cannot multiply. Take, for example, let's look at these two matrices, whether they can multiply. Can these two matrices multiply? Let's look at them now. If we have A, let's say 1 0 2 9, and this matrix, let's say 2 1 4 8 2 1 1 5 3. Can these two matrices multiply? The answer is no. Why? Because how many columns are here? 1 2. This one has 2 columns. And how many columns are how many rows are here? 1 2 3. So this one has 2 columns, as you can see. Why this one has 3 rows? So the columns of this first matrix is not equal to the number of columns of this second matrix. So the two matrices cannot multiply. So this will give you what is called undefined. Undefined. That means you cannot multiply these two matrices. Okay. Another example of two matrices that cannot also multiply are these two. Why? Because there are 2 columns here and there are 4 rows here. So the number of columns you must have in the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows you should have in the second matrix for both matrices to be able to multiply. Now let us now see how to multiply matrices. Okay, example, let's carry out this simple multiplication. Example 1. Example 1. Okay, now multiply the following two matrices. Let's say I have 4 0 6 2 8 1. Multiplying the matrix, let's say 4 1 3 2 and let's say 1 0. So these two matrices can multiply because there are 3 columns here, 1 2 3, and the number of rows we have here are also 3. So the two matrices can easily multiply. So let's now carry out this multiplication and see how easy it is. Now to multiply matrix, the first row you see here multiplies everything here, and this same first row again multiplies everything here. We're done with the first multiplication, and secondly, the second row multiplies this again, and that second row multiplies the next row column. So let's do that now and see. So 4 times 4 corresponding element will multiply. 4 times 4 is 16, and 0 times 3 is 0, that's plus 0. Then 6 times 1 gives you 6. We're done with the element that will be here now. So the next thing is that this same 406 will now multiply the next column. First row multiplying first column, first row again multiplying second column. That's the way it is done. So let's go now. 4 times 1 gives us 4, and 0 times 2 gives us 0, so we're going to have a plus 0 there. Then 6 times 0 gives us 0 again, so I'll keep my 0 there. So the first row is done multiplying the other two columns. Now let's go for the second row now. So the second row again has to multiply each of the columns in the second matrix. Let's do that again. Let's repeat the same process. Now, corresponding elements multiply. Take note. 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. So I'm going to get a plus 24 here. Then 1 times 1 gives us 1, so plus 1. So the second row is done multiplying the first column of the second matrix. So now it is the turn of this same second row to multiply the second column now. Just take it easy, you get to understand that. So 2 times 1 gives us 2, and 8 times 2 gives us 16. Then 1 times 0 gives us 0. So we're done with the multiplication. So all we need to do now is just to find the values of these additions. So in the second matrix, we're going to get this now. 16 plus 0 plus 6 is 22. I have 22 here. Then 4 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. And 8 plus 24, which is 32, plus 1 is 33. And 2 plus 16 plus 0 is 18. We're done. So this is how to multiply matrix by matrix.